If I could have your attention, and as you've already welcomed, let's welcome again the next Congressman for the 9th District. Getting good to see everybody. I'm normally a loud talker, so I probably can talk louder than everybody, but I'm Michelle Jennings, the 9th District Chairman, and it's good for everybody to come out today for the opening of the headquarters. I just want to recognize, well, I'll just start with you since you walked in the door. Adam Talbert, our Smith County Unit Chair. Going around the room. Bob Copeland, our Washington County Chair. I'm looking around faces. Sherman Kane, our Regional Chair. And then we, of course, have some elected officials from here in Washington County. I see Joe Strayton and Dulcie Munpower. And I think that's it. I missed anybody. But I'm going to give this over to Morgan. This is his show. He's the candidate here to tell us what's been going on. And just enjoy yourself. And thanks again for being here. Morgan.
Thank you. Thank you all so much for being here this evening as we open up this headquarters. It is great to be with you all again and great to see so many friends. Some whom I've met within the last few months and some whom I've known more than half my life. Right? Struthers. And so, you know, I really appreciate the support that you all are giving me. It has been great. And let me say I'm very pleased to see all the young people here. The hardest part of this campaign, I'm working hard and I get tired, but the hardest part of this campaign is being away from my kids. And so, you know, even when they're running around or falling on the floor or crying or something, it doesn't bother me any because it reminds me that I'm missing something. That's a good thing because that's the reason I'm running. We cannot afford to continue the policies in Washington if my kids and these kids aren't going to be saddled with debt that they will never be able to lift off of their backs. Washington's run amok. The policies of Obama and Pelosi are going to bankrupt this country. And they're the ones that are going to pay the great price. At 52 years of age, I've had a great life in these United States. I've been educated in these United States. And I've had opportunities to learn and travel and see things. That if we don't take this debt and do something about it, these folks, these young people here, and my kids back home won't have those opportunities. And so as I looked at crossing the precipice and making the decision to run, the number one reason was I don't want to look at my kids when they're 20, and as you all know, they're 10-4 too. Got a month to get my Dr. Pepper picture. Didn't do it for me. And as I don't want when my kids are turning, whatever, 20 roughly, to look them in the eyes and say, I'm sorry you don't have the opportunities that I have, but I didn't have the gumption when I had a chance to make a difference in Washington and run. And I am taking that opportunity, and you all are helping me do it, and I appreciate it greatly, because let me tell you something. The Obama-Pelosi agenda will, in fact, bankrupt this country. And you and I both know who puts the gavel into the hands of Nancy Pelosi? Rick Bowser. It's Rick Bowser. And all across the 9th District, from Covington to the Cumberland, from West Virginia border to the North Carolina border, people are tired of having a congressman who not only puts the gavel in the hands of Nancy Pelosi, but who comes home and says one thing or projects himself as one thing and goes to Washington and goes along to get along with the Obama-Pelosi gang. And folks, we're going to put a stop to it. Because in order to change Washington, you have to change congressmen. That's what it's like. It's not about the person. It's about the policies and moving forward for this country. Now, Rick Boucher comes home, and just a couple of weeks ago, somebody asked him about cap and trade. And he's had a couple of different answers on that, but he says, you know, it's really not going to cost that much. All they have to do is go out and plant a few trees. Plant a few trees? Is that what he really thinks cap and trade is about? Folks, if he can sell that to the people of Southwest Virginia, that it's all about planting a few trees, he might get reelected. But you know what? I had one lady say to me, why do we think that we're not, why does he think that we're not smart enough to figure that one out? We've got him saying that it's not going to cost that much for the average family, but we've got Obama saying, at least he's honest about it, cap and trade will make electricity rates skyrocket. And we all know that. And as those rates skyrocket, coal jobs will disappear. And we will have fewer jobs in Southwest Virginia because a big part of our economy, whether you live in Abingdon or you live in Bluefield or you live in Salem, is dependent upon jobs. Every time I drive by one of those trains with all that coal on it, I say, you know what, it's just a few hours or a couple of days before that's rumbling through on its way to another destination, but rumbling through the 9th District and through my hometown. I look at that. And then you say, well, wait a minute, if those skyrocketing rates are going to be there, what's it going to cost the potato chip factory in Bristol? Are they going to be able to compete? And how about furniture factories? Right now we have one furniture manufacturer left in all of Southwest Virginia. Now, fortunately, Bob McDonald made an announcement this week. We've got another furniture factory coming in to the 9th District in Henry County. And it looks very encouraging that we're able to bring some business back. But that being said, what happens to those furniture manufacturing facilities or any manufacturing facility when the electric rate goes up? And not only do we have to fight places like China and Indonesia and India on wages, but they're not going to do cap and trade. They're not going to have high energy costs. So not only do we have the wage issue, but Rick Boucher wants to saddle us with an electricity or an energy issue that will drive our manufacturing base down even further. We cannot have this. This cannot stand. In order to change Washington, we have to change congressmen. Big news of the week. Arizona passes a law that says we will do what the federal government has refused to do, and we will arrest folks who are not here legally and turn them over to ICE. The federal government says, oh no, don't do that. Don't enforce the law. Obama tells his Justice Department to go after Arizona. Rick Boucher, and on this one we're going to agree, Rick Boucher decides, oh, I'm against that lawsuit. And so he sends out a press statement, he does a press release, and he says we're going to be against that lawsuit, even though my president, Rick Boucher, I love that guy. So saying Obama, Rick Boucher, I love that guy. Even though my president doesn't like it, I'm up for re-election. I'm going to oppose the president on this one. But when the vote came up, take the money away from sanctuary cities, Rick Boucher and Nancy Pelosi voted not to take the money away. The Republicans in Congress voted to take it away from the sanctuary cities where they're trying to let the illegals come in and be there without having any following of the laws of this United States or these United States. When it came time to decide whether we were going to fully fund the fence, and those of you who know through the primary or the nomination process, I'm a big believer in the fence. When it came time to fully fund the fence, Rick Boucher and Nancy Pelosi voted no. They weren't going to fund the fence. Republican leadership voted yes to fund the fence. As your congressman, I will pledge to you that I will vote to fund the fence. I've had an opportunity in life, as I said earlier, I've been able to travel. I've seen the fence in Israel. It's not as long as our fence will need to be, but it's, boy, is it a high-tech fence. The description of it is that, you know, they've got sensors in the ground. Anybody touches the fence, anybody starts digging near the fence, they know about it and they send folks out to find out what's going on. That's what we ought to be doing. If little Israel can do it, the great United States of America can do it. We need to build the fence. It needs to be our #1 priority on immigration. We need to protect our borders, both south and north. But we can build the fence in the south, and then we can figure out what we need to do in the north. Ladies and gentlemen, in order to change Washington, we must change Congress. You know that, and the people of the 9th District know that, and with your help and their votes on November 2nd, we will change Washington by changing congressmen in the 9th District of Virginia.
Yeah.
This campaign is not about Morgan Griffith, it's about changing Washington so that these young people here tonight, when they're 20 years old like my children, won't be asking, Daddy, why? Mommy, why? They'll be saying, wow, it was really that bad for a few years? Our country almost did that? Thanks for being a part of the solution. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for being a part of the solution. March to victory. We will, in fact, have a victory on November 2nd. Thank you very much.
Have a lot of work to do before November. Get in touch with these unit chairs that I've pointed out here and see what you can do to help us volunteer, to help volunteer here in the office. And enjoy your afternoon. We've got refreshments. Feel free to talk with Morgan, mingle, and thanks again for being here.
And get signs and bumper strips.
Yeah.